Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is a video that gets asked for me to do now and again, and I always never bother doing it. Today I feel why not. It's gonna be my collection video, which isn't very big. It's behind me right now. I keep it on this bookcase. It's the top shelf of the bookcase only, and that's it. It's never gonna go beyond that. I don't intend to be a massive collector. I don't want it to be out of hand. I don't see the point, because even with this amount of fragrances, I don't wear them all. I bought them because I like them, and then I find I don't wear them. I might wear them initially, and then I kind of wear other stuff, and then they kind of get left behind. And so even with a small collection, you end up not wearing things. So I can imagine with a collection 2, 3, 4, 5, however many times bigger than that, they really become ornaments that collect dust, and I don't fancy polishing them all as ornaments because they never get used. So for me, I'm never going to have a big collection, so it's pretty small. Just to get that out of the way, I know I'm a fragrance reviewer, but I'm not a fragrance collector in the same regard as a lot of the other reviewers. It's just not something I'm gonna do. I'd rather spend money on other things than just ornaments that don't get used. So I'll go through what I have. I'll also probably mention whether or not I would buy it again once that's run out. So we'll get on with the first. I'll show a video clip of the bookcase layout, how it's kind of presented, so to speak, and I'll talk about each one. So we'll start from the front, working this way, and then go to the rows behind. The first one's just my own brand. I like to have them there at the front because they look beautiful. So Centauri, Proxima, Gaia, Dendera. I won't really speak about my own brand, but you know it's there. That's where they stay. The first immediate brand after that is by Xerjoff and Ivory Roots. So this is the first one I'll talk about. This one, sandalwood, spicy kind of vanillic sandalwood. Sweet, lovely, warm, cozy, rich, unisex fragrance for the winter. And would I buy it again after this is finished? Probably not. And for the reason being, not because I don't like it. I don't find I wear it all that often, but I do love vanilla. But there's so many vanilla fragrances in the world that I probably wouldn't repurchase the same. I'd probably go for a different vanilla. So once this is gone, which this will probably last a very, very long time. It's almost full still. I would pick a different one. So the answer, would I buy that again, is no. But it's a good fragrance. Next up is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood. This one's beautiful. It's a sweet dark rose fragrance. Kind of velvety, powdery, sweet, soft, just beautiful. I've done a review on it. This one, I don't wear that often, but it is very rich, it's beautiful. Some people might find it leaning a little bit feminine. I wear it now and again, not as often as I used to, and I went through a period of not wearing it altogether, but now I probably worn it maybe twice in the last couple of months. So not all that often, but I do still like it for the colder weather. Beautiful, generally speaking, unisex. Would I buy it again? Probably not, and that level of juice, even though there's not much there, will last many years. So by the time that's run out, I feel like I would have had enough of it by then. So I wouldn't buy that one again, but I think it's a beautiful perfume and it's one of my favourites, and I'd love to smell it on a woman especially. Beautiful perfume for a woman. Moving to the opposite side of my Tutankhamun statue, people ask me where I bought that. I bought it in Egypt itself, in Cairo. I stayed in a hotel that was literally like a stone's throw away from the Giza plateau and the pyramids at Giza. And along that street there's just a series of shops. There's perfume shops that sell oils, there's shops that sell, things like that, statues, and I purchased it literally outside the gates of the pyramids. So it's not something that I bought online, I actually bought it in Egypt, in Cairo. But the next one, Fort Manle, Fatih Sultan Mehmed. This one is beautiful. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a soapy, incensey, slightly sweet floral that's beautiful. It's unisex. It's a spring, summertime fragrance in my opinion. And I do enjoy it. I wear it fairly regularly, although not quite recently, but it's one of my favourite perfumes and I would buy it again. So the answer to that is yes. When this runs out, I probably would buy that again. Next up is Bojnokopff by Fort Manle. This one is lavender, chocolate, oud and a mix of dark woods, and I love it. It's one of my favourite fragrances and I definitely would buy that again. Once this runs out, I would buy another bottle for sure. It's a winter autumn fragrance that's unisex and smells awesome. It's one of my favourite fragrances. Next up on the shelf is Nasomatto's Pardon. This one is a patchouli sweetened fragrance that is kind of dark, slightly sweet, a little bit sharp, and I wouldn't buy this again. I really enjoyed it for many years. I've had it for a long time. I've still got half a bottle left, but I feel like once this is gone, I wouldn't buy this one again. So there you go. But it's a great fragrance. If it's more masculine, I would say, generally speaking, for colder weather in the evening. I've always mentioned that this would be a good option for wearing a suit, and yeah, it's cool, but I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished. But saying that, this will last me probably another 5 years. So, you know, in another 5-year time I probably won't be compelled to be wearing the same things then anyway, so for this one I wouldn't get it again. Next up is Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. This one I definitely would buy again. It's my favourite fragrance out of all of them. It's the first perfume that I really truly fell in love with and started this whole passion for me. It was falling in love with this. So that triggered the whole thing for me. I wouldn't be doing these videos right now. I wouldn't have my own perfume brand if it wasn't for this. So yes, I would definitely buy it again. But I don't wear it as often as I used to. I guess mainly because I have a bigger collection now. But favourite fragrance, I don't wear it when it's hot, so colder weather, but beautiful. Next up on the shelf is Sacred Wood by Kilian. This one is literally just sandalwood and that is it. It is a combination of synthetic sandalwoods. I unscrewed mine and poured in quite a generous heap of genuine real Mysore sandalwood, so mine's a bit richer. I wouldn't buy it again. I would just make my own sandalwood perfume, to be honest. I have real Mysore sandalwood. I wouldn't feel the need to buy this again. I would just literally make my own. But a good option if you like sandalwood fragrances. I believe it's discontinued, but you can probably still get hold of it. It's completely unisex, literally just sandalwood. So yeah, it's good, and I wear it relatively regularly. I've worn it probably, I think, maybe 3 times this month, something like that. I do pick it up on a relatively regular basis, so I enjoy this one, but I wouldn't buy it again. I would just create my own sandalwood perfume. Skipping over to the second row behind the first, on this side we've got Rasei Fort's Kolonya. Full discretion, I didn't buy that, it was sent to me for review, but I did buy the other Fort Manle. They were my own, I purchased them fully myself, but this one was sent for review. But I love it, it smells amazing. I'm a fan of Rasei Fort's work. I think he's a fantastic perfumer, and this one I love. Oh, I did a review on it. It has an ironone-like effect, even though there's no iris in there, but it's kind of a beautiful, smooth, kind of sweet, florally, citrusy, petitgrain, kind of bright, kind of beautiful, soft, beautiful fragrance. It's kind of hard to describe. It's a kind of a, it's got a kind of a mixture of all sorts in there, but it's beautiful. I would say it's unisex, personally, and I would get that again. Once that's run out, I would buy that again. It would be nice if it had a spray. I'm not personally one that likes to do that, but that out of the way, it's still a beautiful fragrance, and I would get that again once it runs out. I think it smells really good. It's more spring, summer, in my opinion. Very, very easy to wear, very, very likable. Next up is Hemmingway by Masque Milano. I didn't buy that either. I reviewed some of the samples, and Alessandro, the owner, reached out to me and said, I would love to send you a bottle of your favourite one, just to show you the quality of the bottles, and I picked Hemmingway because Hemmingway was my favourite. And this one is a rich vetiver fragrance. I won't speak too much about it. I have reviewed it on the channel, but if you like vetiver, it's one to check out, Hemmingway. I probably wouldn't buy this specific one again. Not that I bought it the first time. It's a good fragrance, don't get me wrong, but I find I don't wear it all that often, even though I think it's a great vetiver fragrance. I reach for it now and again, but not often enough for me to be compelled with the urge to buy it again when it runs out. And I probably wouldn't buy another heavy vetiver fragrance either, but it is great, and I do wear it in the colder weather when I'm in the mood for vetiver. It's a good one, but you can see the juice level on that. It's going to last me a very long time, so I'm not too worried about it. Next up on the row of perfumes is Heartache by Imaginary Authors. This one, strawberry and pine. I enjoy this one. I haven't used very much considering how many years I've had it, but I do enjoy it. This will last me, as you can tell, probably for another decade. So I think by the time it runs out, I probably won't be that compelled to buy it again, considering, you know, in 10 years I'll be in my 40s. So I would probably say no. I would probably have moved on by then, but I love it. It's a great fragrance. I talk about it a lot. I like to wear it actually I used to wear it in the cold weather. Now I actually quite like it in the sunshine. It kind of lifts off your skin and smells a little bit different when the heat's on it. One I really enjoy. Unisex, generally speaking, colder or hot weather. If you like strawberry and pine and smelling like a sweet strawberry candy in a forest, then you might like it. Next up on the shelf is one I just purchased. It's Sharini, and it's called a Rose Blanche. This one is citrus, pink pepper, and basically a watery rose accord, like a rose tincture. I bought it from memory because I reviewed it many years ago, I think like 4 years ago, and I couldn't remember it fully. I just remember it being like a full kind of rosy kind of accord thing, and I was looking for a rose perfume. I wouldn't buy this again once this is gone, but I think it's lovely if you just want a light, airy kind of fresh rose. To be honest, with things like that, I would probably just make my own version of a rose perfume myself rather than purchase this one again. But if you like rose, good option. Unisex, leaning on the feminine, and hot weather, spring and summer for the daytime is what it strikes me. But I wouldn't buy it again once this particular bottle runs out. Next up on the opposite side of the lion is Matriarch's, Teddy's just leaving the room, Matriarch's Madrona. This one is a lavender fragrance. Lavender, vetiver, and a little bit of iris, I think. This one is great. It's probably definitely is my most one from Matriarch. The level is here, if you can see where my finger is. So I've nearly used it. Yeah, I would buy that again. I never used to particularly like lavender until I smelled this one, and I was like, oh, I kind of get it now. Lavender, it changed my opinion on lavender. It's unisex, it's any season really, and I would buy that again once this has finished, because it's the best lavender fragrance I've personally smelled. So yes, I would. Next on the shelf is Coco Blanc by the same house. This, oh no, it's not, my mistake. Sacre, Tabac, Sucre. I got my order wrong. Sacre, Tabac, Sucre. This one is a apple tobacco fragrance. I wouldn't buy that again once this is gone, because this will last me for ages. I'd imagine I'll still have this in 15 years time. I don't wear it very often. I bought it because when I smelt it I was like, oh, this really suits me. I got a good vibe of the way the apple kind of merged with everything. I do like it, I think it smells good, but I probably wouldn't buy it again once that runs out. I would say in general it's unisex, autumn, winter, and yeah, kind of an apple tobacco thing that smells very good, but I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished. Moving on, we have one from Abel. This particular one is Cobalt Amber. This one I've reviewed on the channel. It's an ambery, vanillic, tonkery kind of vibe. I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished, but I do like it, and it's unisex, spring, autumn, winter, and I've reviewed it on the channel, so check it out if you want to hear more about that. But it's simple, minimalist, as all of the ones in this line are in general, but very nice. But I wouldn't buy this particular one again once this little bottle is finished. Just to point out as well that the Abel brand is all 100% natural. The next one is also Abel. This one is Green Cedar. This one is cedarwood. I think there's a little bit of gaiac wood, there's a little bit of spice, and it's great if you just like literally smelling of chopped cedarwood logs, then you will love this one. I don't think I would buy that again personally. If you like woody fragrances, definitely check that one out though. For me, I wouldn't repurchase that once this is gone, but I found that when I do wear this, it's usually for layering, especially with vanilla fragrances. If I have a vanilla fragrance, I will layer this over the top of it to give it a rich kind of woody grain over the top of the vanilla. So I don't particularly wear this one as an individual fragrance, but I have used it for layering. Next up is another one from Abel. This one is Pink Iris. This one is amazing. I reviewed it. This is beautiful. Yeah, it's not a traditional iris. It doesn't smell of lipstick or like makeup, but it's kind of a violety, soft, ironony, irisy, slightly sweetened violet nuances to it. Very, very lovely. I've done a review on it. Check that out to hear like more about it. In general, maybe leaning feminine, but unisex for the, I would say all season, but it might struggle in the winter. I would buy that again once this is finished. I really enjoy it. Next up on the shelf is Golden Neroli. This one is probably my favourite from Abel. This one does have neroli, but it's kind of got a matcha accord. There's a Lang Ylang, there's a little bit of vanilla. It's just beautiful. It smells gorgeous, and I definitely would buy that again once this little one is finished. I would get a bigger one. I would get a full-size bottle of this one. Golden Neroli, beautiful. It's unisex and spring and summer for the hot weather, daytime, work appropriate, beautiful. Hopping over to the third row on this side, we have more from Matriarch. This one is Destrier. This one was a collaboration from Ryan, Rice Frags 34. This one is a fantastic leather fragrance. It's kind of a horse saddle with kind of, yeah, horse saddle and kind of dark oak kind of wood, like a drawbridge thing with horse saddle, basically. It's a leather fragrance. It smells really good. I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished, because I don't wear it that often, but it is a fantastic fragrance, and it will last me a very long time, probably a good 10-15 years. I'll be still have juice in this bottle. But so I wouldn't buy it again, but it's a good fragrance if you like leather, and it's a unique leather as well. Next on the shelf is another Matriarch, Coco Blanc. This one, sandalwood, vanilla, spices. It smells like a white chocolate, vanilla, sandalwood, spicy smoothie, kind of. Gets mixed reactions from people on the internet. Some people destroy it and slate it and say it smells like baby vomit. Some people don't smell the vanilla in it. Some people don't smell the white chocolate in it. It gets mixed performance from like it lasts 5 minutes on my skin to it lasts 6 hours on my skin to it lasts 12 hours on my skin. So this is a bit of a weird one for people. Don't blind buy it, basically. Test it with a sample. It's just the way it is. On me, I get kind of, when I reviewed this, I remember saying, oh, I get about 7 hours on my skin, and that was testing with a dab stick on my hand. And you can smell it that way, close, for several hours, but when you actually spray it from a bottle and you wear it properly, in general I get 3 to 4 hours, so I would say 4 hours longevity for this on my skin when wearing it properly. So it's not huge, but it's one of my favourite fragrances in terms of sheer smell. I just find it really attractive. It's a beautiful fragrance. I would say it's unisex, maybe leaning on feminine for some. Obviously not safe to blind buy, and they are expensive. Although I really, really love it, I wouldn't buy it again. Again, for the same reason as Ivory Roots, is that there's so many vanilla fragrances. I would want to venture out a little bit further and try other things by the time this is finished. Again, this will probably last me 10 years. So I wouldn't buy that one again, even though it's one of my favourite fragrances and I think it smells fantastic. I would want to explore and venture out into other vanilla fragrances by the time this is finished. Next up is from the same house. It's Sacre Noir. This one was a collaboration with Joseph Sagona. And this one is kind of an ivy fragrance. It kind of smells like mince pies a little bit. It's got kind of a dried fruity thing with green ivy kind of leaves. It's very, very unique, very cool. I don't wear it all that often, but I remember having my mind blown when I first smelled it. It is a really good fragrance. And again, it's very unique. It's very well blended. I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished, for the same reason as I said before. It will last me so long. By the time I've got through it, I won't have the urge to buy another one. I'll enjoy what's there, and then when it's gone, it's gone. I'm not going to cling to this one, but it's a fantastic fragrance. I'm not putting it down in any way. I just wouldn't repurchase this one. I would say unisex, colder weather. Hopping to the other side, sorry, we're on a Matriarch fest here. I have a few. This one is Devotion. This one is a really good incense fragrance, a mix of resins. I get kind of a cannabis vibe in the opening, but resins, woods, ambergris, spices, and cannabis. I would buy it again once this is finished, although it's about here so far, so it'll last me a long time still. But one of the best incense fragrances in my personal opinion, and I would buy that again because I do enjoy wearing it for the cold weather, and it's unisex. Next up, same house, Orca. This one is an ambergris, slightly spiced, slightly incensey concoction. This is lovely. If you like ambergris, check it out, it's cool. It's got kind of a honeyed sweetness to it. I really like this. I think it's very well blended. It's got an interesting mix of notes in here. But although I do really like it, I find I wear Devotion more often, and this one kind of gets seated back where I don't quite grab it as much. And so I don't think I would buy this particular one again once this is finished. Again, this is going to last me probably more than 10 years. So I think by the time I've gone through it, I would have had enough time with it to have appreciated my time with it and to move on. So this one I wouldn't buy it again. In general, unisex, colder weather fragrance. Next up is going back to Abel. Again, all natural brand, white vetiver. This is a citrus and very clean vetiver fragrance, and that's it. Very natural, obviously, being 100% natural. This one I would buy again. In fact, I'm wearing it right now. I wore it today. It's blisteringly hot outside. It's one of the hottest days. This smells fantastic in the heat. Very refreshing, very... oh, you just feel good. So yes, I would buy that again. You can see how much I've used already. Next up is by Kiehl's. It's called Vanilla and Cedar. I've had this for a long time. I wouldn't buy this again, partly because you can't, it's discontinued. But again, the same reason. This is a vanilla fragrance. There's just so many vanilla fragrances. I would just pick other things in future once my current ones have gone. But this one, it's a slightly play-doh-y, powdery, soft, delicate vanilla with hints of cedar, basically. Very simple, lovely, unisex, leaning on feminine, quite long lasting, quite light and airy, but I wouldn't buy it again once this is gone. Even if I could, even if it wasn't discontinued, I wouldn't repurchase it. Next up is by Rasei, and it's La Yucawan Pour Homme. I bought this probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. It's a clone of Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. Tuscan Leather being my favourite fragrance. I kind of bought it as a backup bottle for when my Tuscan Leather runs out. But I think I wouldn't bother buying this again. I would actually stick with the original Tom Ford. This is an excellent clone. I mean, it smells really bang on, to be honest. It's stronger. It's stronger than Tom Ford. It's louder, it's more aggressive, it lasts longer, it projects more. But I feel like I prefer Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. It's a little bit softer and maybe a little bit more softer around the edges, or rounder. I can't explain it, but I gravitate more to the original than the clone. This does have a sweeter, raspberry, more fruity kind of nuance than the original, but I find even one spray of this is too strong for me. It's everywhere, and I prefer the original, basically. This is too strong, so I wouldn't buy that again. Also, I'm not generally a fan of clones. I really prefer to buy the originals. So moving on to the opposite side, on the back row, this is the last row. This is Atelier Cologne's Pomelo Paradis. This is a beautiful pomelo grapefruit citrus thing with a slightly ambery base. Beautiful. I wear this one often. In fact, no, it's this one I'm wearing today. I was thinking I'd sprayed the Abel white vetiver, but I haven't. I sprayed this one, Atelier Cologne Pomelo Paradis. I can't smell it anymore unless I do that. Yeah, I'm wearing this one, sorry. But yeah, I love it. Hot weather, summer, that's why I'm wearing it. I would buy that again once it's gone. I've used that much, so you can see I get through it. It loses its projection quickly on me. It sits pretty close to the skin, hence why I couldn't tell what I was wearing and thought I was wearing the other one. But it's a great fragrance, and I would buy it again. Next up is Narciso Rodriguez EDP For Him. This is my only proper designer fragrance. This one, a very kind of light floral, florally musk thing that's kind of unusual and unique, and I've not smelled anything like this particular one. It's great. It smells like spring to me, daytime, very easy to wear, and I probably would buy that again, but I think this would last me a long time. I don't see it running out anytime soon. I don't reach for it all that often, but it is a good fragrance. I recommend it for designer lovers. It's a good one. Be careful, there's different versions of this and they do smell different. This is EDP For Him in the kind of silvery grey one. You have the concrete grey, that's the EDT. I don't particularly like that one, it smells like wet concrete. So yeah, this one I like, and I probably would get that again. I might go for the holographic label on the front though next time, which is the same exact fragrance in a different bottle for some reason, I don't know why. Next up is a return to Matriarch. This is The Longing. This is a jasmine fragrance, a honeyed, buttery jasmine. I wouldn't buy it again, but it is extremely unique and it makes my mouth water, and it's very, very interesting. It does have a little bit of a sharpness and it is kind of polarizing. Some people won't like it, but it is very unique. I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished. Because this will last me probably my entire life. It's still up here, so it's fantastic. I love the what's the word I'm looking for? The artistry behind it, the blending. But I don't find I wear it very often, basically, so I wouldn't repurchase that one, but it will last me forever, basically, so it's going to be around for a long time. In general, I would say it's unisex for the colder weather. Next up is, same house, Toukka Ta Tao. This is Timmy's fragrance from Imagine Scent. This one is a sweet, floral, beachy kind of vibe, tropical. I wouldn't buy it again once this is finished, just because this will last me forever. Again, just not one I reach for. It's great. I gave it a fantastic review. I think it's awesome. But I don't find I reach for it, honestly. So this one, I wouldn't buy it again, but it will last me forever. So I'll probably still have use in this in 15 years' time. I would say it's unisex, hot weather, spring and summer. Very unique fragrance. I mean, I give it high props. Timmy came up with a great idea. It smells fantastic. I just don't wear it that often, so I wouldn't get that one again. Next up on the other side is Aventus. I have that much left, very little left. This one, well, I'm not even going to say, everyone knows what it smells like. I wouldn't buy it again. This will be the last time I wear this. Once this is gone, it's gone. I wouldn't bother. The only other one from Creed that I do like is Royal Oud. I might buy that one day in the future, I'm not sure. But that's the only other one from Creed that I'm pulled to, that I appreciate. The others I'm not really taken with, but I would not buy this again. Next up is Matriarch's Kazemi. This is a 100ml bottle, not a 50. A limited edition thing that was bottled on an Eclipse, I think, I can't remember. But this is a rose fragrance. It's a dark, rich, woody rose fragrance. It smells fantastic. In my opinion, probably the best rose fragrance out there, in my personal taste. Very dark, rich rose, full of rose absolutes and rose ottos, and it's the real deal. It's not synthetic, it's proper rose. And yeah, it's great. I can't imagine I'll ever run out of it with having 100ml. Hypothetically, if I was to run out of it, I would repurchase this one. I don't wear it all that often. I wore it a couple of times recently. It's a great rose fragrance if you like rose. So yes, I would buy it again, but this will probably never run out. Next up, this is Malaga Santa. This one was from Pedro. This was given to me for free for review. This is a sweet incense-y fragrance. I like it. I don't, to be honest, haven't worn it properly since I've got it, but it is a good incense fragrance. It's just I have Devotion, which I kind of prefer. This one's sweeter and more frankincense-y than Devotion is, but it is a really good option for a more naturalistic smelling incense church style fragrance. This is kind of Catholic church smell, but very good if you like incense. Once this is run out, I wouldn't buy a bottle of it, but it is what it is, and it's a good incense fragrance. So yeah, I feel like I only need one incense fragrance in my collection. I guess it's why I don't reach for this one as much. So Devotion kind of has me covered for my incense needs, but good option nevertheless, and this is a lot cheaper than Devotion is. So yeah, Orzia El Legrand, can't pronounce the name, but that's the brand behind this creation. The next one is from the same brand, and it's called Orakion. Cannot pronounce it. There you go. This one, I haven't reviewed it yet. I should do. It's kind of it's not the incensey church thing. It's more floral, but I will delve into a review at some point in this one. This isn't my personal taste of what I would buy myself. Again, this was sent to me purposely for a review, but this one I wouldn't buy it myself personally, but I will talk about it later when I review it. I did have a bottle of Lune Feline by Ateliers des Ors. I actually gifted that to my mother. She really liked the smell of it, and she loved the bottle with the gold flakes. I gifted it her, so I don't have that in my collection anymore. It's yeah, it's with my mother. There's other fragrances. I used to have more from Matriarch and I think other brands, but I sold them and gave the money to charity. I did a charity thing a while ago where I was raising money to plant trees, and so they disappeared from my collection, and the money I got from that went into planting trees. And there's some fragrances that I gifted to my sister, my big sister, and so one of those was by Rainier, and it has, I can't remember the name of it now, it's escaping me, but it had mango and oud in it. My sister really liked that one. I gave that to my sister. So yeah, a few I've given away to family, and a few I've sold on eBay. So yeah, that's it. That's my entire collection as of today, and they're kept on this beautiful bookcase. Really, I have too many fragrances. I don't need this many. I don't wear them all. I bought them all because I appreciate the art in them, and I really do like them, otherwise I wouldn't have bought them. But I find that I don't wear them enough to want to repurchase a few of them. And really, so I feel like this collection's too many. I could probably sacrifice a good 10 of those and not really miss them, quite honestly. That's how it is. I don't know if other people with big collections feel the same, where they really probably wouldn't notice if half their collection suddenly disappeared, because they have so many to choose from. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again soon with another one. Take care, everybody. Bye.